Okay, here is some help for worksheet number 2. Now, the thing about worksheet number 2 is you have to be able to go both ways. If I give you the um, name, you have to give me the formula, but vice versa. If I give you the formula, you're going to have to give me the name. And remember, UPAC naming rules, the positive ion is listed first, the negative ion is listed second. So for this one, if you just look up what's Na, you go over here to your ion sheet and you find Na, and you'll see that Na's name is sodium. And the other thing you'll see is that sodium does not have a Roman numeral. The ones that have Roman numerals have more than one charge. So copper has a +1 charge or a +2 charge, and gold has a Roman numeral because gold 3 is like 99% of all the compounds, but there is a gold 1. And so iron sometimes has a +2 charge, sometimes has a +3 charge. Lead has a +2 charge or a +4 charge. So moral of the story is, if there is a Roman numeral on this sheet, it needs a Roman numeral, and if there's not a Roman numeral on this sheet, it doesn't. Sodium is always, always, always +1, never any other charge, and so you don't need a Roman numeral to tell us what the charge is. And then Cl is just chloride. You find that you look for the symbol this time and then grab the name, and then you look for the symbol, which is chloride, and you grab the name. And so this thing is called sodium chloride. All right, and so then number 2, um, if skip over 2, I'm going to go to 4. Sorry, let's grab the eraser. I don't really want to do 2 because that one's kind of confusing to start with right away. I'm going to do a couple more that don't need Roman numerals, like 7. So 7 is called Ag2O. And this 2, as you think back to worksheet 1, this 2 is here just because we need to balance the charges. The positive charge has to cancel the negative charge. And this 2 is coming from the fact that silver is +1 and oxide is -2. And it really doesn't matter when you're naming unless you need a Roman numeral. So we go over here and we find Ag. Sorry, here. And you look up and down and you find Ag, and Ag's way down here. It's silver. And then you come up here and you look up oxide, and it's O. And so this is called silver oxide. That's it. Very easy. You don't have to do anything with this 2. That you only have to pay attention to those subscripts if you need a Roman numeral. Let's do one more easy one, and then we'll do a hard one. 15 is easy. Why? Because it's Al, N, and so Al is aluminum. Sorry, aluminum. And then N is nitrogen, but it has a name change. It's nitride, and so that's aluminum nitride. And the reason we don't need a Roman numeral is aluminum doesn't have a Roman numeral here. Aluminum is always +3. Nitride is always -3, +3, -3. Just slam them together. Now, when we get to some weird problems like 8, 8 is CuCl2, and the first part isn't hard. Cu is copper. Cu, copper, but when you come over here, you will notice that there's 2 kinds of copper, copper 1 and copper 2, and so copper compounds need to have a Roman numeral. And so save room for it. And UPAC naming systems, it goes in parentheses. And then chloride is what Cl is. It's actually Cl not in a compound is called chlorine. Cl in a compound is called chloride. Now, how you figure out if this is a 1 or a 2, because remember, coming back over here, there's some compounds of copper have a +1 charge, and some compounds of copper have a +2 charge. The way you figure that out is you solve a very simple algebra problem, and here's how it goes. It always goes like this. You take the coefficient on the copper, and there isn't one. Sorry, not coefficient, subscript. You take the subscript on the copper, there isn't one, and that means it's a 1, times X, because we're trying to figure out what the charge is on X, plus the subscript on the chlorine, which is 2, times the charge on chlorine, which is -1. And every year the kids ask me where I got that. The charge on chlorine is -1. You just get it off the sheet. By the way, negative ions never have Roman numerals or more than one charge. It's only the positive ions. Okay, and then remember they have to add up to 0, so you get this very easy equation. 1 times x is x plus -2 equals 0, and then you add 2 to both sides, and you get x is 2, and that tells you that this charge on the copper is +2. And then I'm going to jump up to, what's a good one? 22. This is 22 on worksheet 2 is HG, sorry, this is HGO, and Hg is mercury. And if you come over here, it's hard to see, but sometimes mercury has a +2 charge, and sometimes mercury has a +1 charge. So if there's a Roman numeral on here, there has to be a Roman numeral in the name. And so we know that mercury is either going to have a +1 charge or a +2 charge, and then O is oxide. And anytime you need to figure out the charge, you do this simple algebra problem, which is the subscript on the mercury is 1. The charge on the mercury is X. That's what we're trying to figure out. Plus the subscript on the oxide is 1, because if there's nothing written here, they're assumed ones. At the charge on oxide is always -2. That comes off the ion sheet. See, oxide -2 equals 0. And so you get X -2 equals 0, or X is 2. And so this is mercury 2 oxide. And then one more, let's do 20, I don't know, let's do, I'm trying to find one that's hard. Let's do 25, no, we just did, let's do 26. Oops, didn't mean to do that, sorry about that. Let's make that big. Okay, so let's do 26, which is PB Br2. So PB is lead, and if you go to your ion sheet, you'll see lead is listed twice, lead 2 and lead 4. And then Br is bromide. And so if you need to figure out the Roman numeral, you have to do this algebra problem. The subscript on the lead is 1. The charge on the lead is what we're trying to solve for. The subscript on the bromide is 2. The charge on the bromide is -1. The charge on bromide is -1. And they always have to add to 0. And so again, you get X plus -2 equals 0. You add 2 to both sides, and this is lead 2 bromide. All right, hope this helps.